What's up, guys? It's your boy Swells here, and today we're talking about days 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth in terms of NFL free agency. At this point, most deals have been done. There's not many good players left on the market, mostly just rotational pieces. A lot of wide receivers still available, but none of them are specifically fantastic. Emmanuel Sanders just got signed by the New Orleans Saints. We might as well start there. I think that's a good deal for the Saints. He's a veteran receiver who can put up good numbers. He's not expected to be your number one. He's not expected to get you 1,000 yards. He's just there to complement Michael Thomas, take some pressure off of Thomas, so that way Breeze can look in more directions. I think it's great for the Saints. I think it's a fantastic signing. I'd rate that probably. I'd give it an A minus because, of course, you did sign him to 2 years. If he doesn't produce, you did take a bit of a risk there. The Saints are kind of in a all in, chips on the table kind of mode right now, with Drew Brees having just 2 years left. You would consider before he retires, considering that's the deal that he signed with New Orleans. So therefore, they're going to try their best to win the Super Bowl within these next 2 years, as are two other teams in the NFC South that we'll talk about their deals in a bit. Staying with the Saints, Andrews Pete, the offensive guard, he signed a massive, I think it's a 4 or 5 year deal, well over 10 million, over 10 million per year. And he did make the Pro Bowl, but Pro Bowl means nothing. People need to understand the Pro Bowl means absolutely nothing. You're getting quarterbacks that don't deserve to be there. Mitch Trubisky was a Pro Bowl quarterback, and he didn't even throw for 4,000 yards. Pro Bowl means nothing. Andrews Pete was not fantastic last year. He's not deserving of that much money. Saints usually aren't too terrible in terms of spending their money, but in this case, they didn't really do a good job here. This was a bad signing, a bad extension. They've got a lot of pieces that are going to need to be extended shortly. Especially on the offensive line. They've signed great talent. They've gotten great talent within the draft in the past couple of years. I'm not sure that was a great move for the Saints. They also signed Malcolm Jenkins, great veteran. I'm not sure, 4-year deal. I think it was 4-year deal for $32 million. I think that's maybe a bit much. Malcolm Jenkins, I think he's in his early to mid 30s. I'm not sure if he's going to last throughout that deal, but he's a great veteran. He'll provide great captaincy, or if he's a captain, he might be a captain. Who knows? He'll be a great veteran in the locker room, great locker room presence. I don't see really how that's a bad deal for the Saints, but you did take a bit of a risk there with the cap, and he is quite old, so he might dip off rather quickly. Moving on from the Saints, we'll talk about the Bucs. The big signing of free agency is Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, despite having a lot of cap, are almost in a win-now mode. They have fantastic pieces on both sides of the ball. Perhaps their secondary is lacking quite a bit. They have a good front four on the defensive side. Linebackers are pretty good. They do have the sack leader in Shaq Barrett, but I would say Tom Brady basically puts the nail in the coffin for, or not to put the nail in the coffin. That's a bad word. That's a bad saying because it's not the Bucs season over. If anything, this is putting the Bucs as well as the Saints in an all-in kind of chips all-in scenario, where he signed a 2-year contract. They've got to get something within those 2 years, or else they did it all for nothing, because Jameis, he's basically gone. And considering the Bucs did 7 wins with Winston throwing 30 picks, I think they'll be able to do pretty good. I would expect them to make the playoffs for both of these 2 years. They have a fantastic offense. Perhaps they could work on the offensive line, draft a tackle in the first round. They have a high selection. I think it's number 14. I don't see any issues with that decision. I think they might have also signed an offensive lineman. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think I'm mixing that up with something. But we'll move to the third team in the NFC South, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. That's my favorite team, as you guys probably know. They did quite a bit of good business this year, I would say. Typically, they sign a lot of rotational players on bad deals, especially last year, kind of killed it for them. But this year they kind of brought it back. They didn't have much cap, but they released a lot of players, cut a lot of big names. Freeman, Trufant. I guess you could say Sombrero. He had a lot of cap, but besides the point, they released a lot of players, got a lot of cap. Not a lot of cap, but a good amount. They made some good signings. Dante Fowler Jr., outside linebacker, rush end kind of. He's a good player. I'm not sure he's worth I think it's $12 million per year that they signed him for. It's basically Vic Beasley money. He's better than Vic Beasley for sure, but is he going to keep up that production without Aaron Donald? Grady Jarrett's a fantastic player, no doubt about that. But I'm not sure Dante Fowler is the right fit for this scheme, especially if they're not blitzing. Falcons are not a blitzing kind of team. They don't use blitz packages that much. Fowler might struggle. I think they'll get a good amount of activity out of him, but I'm not sure it's worth as much as they paid for him. That signing for me, I haven't graded the other signings because I forgot, but this signing for me, it's going to get a B- because it's a high risk, high reward, in my opinion. Whether they still draft an edge in the first round, who knows? Kayvon Chason seems to be the consensus for many experts. That'd be a good sign. That'd be a good draft, but perhaps they'll go in a different direction and go corner, maybe C.J. Henderson. But that's besides the point. They also signed Todd Gurley. That's the big one. That's the biggest news today, I would say. Todd Gurley signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. I think that is a fantastic decision by the Falcons. It's very low risk. It's just $5 or $6 million or something like that. It's just $6 million. He's only there for 1 year. You're not losing anything by not signing him, or you're losing by not signing him. Really, he's a good piece. He got 14 touchdowns last year, albeit on limited touches. As long as he can provide similar production to that, you'll get Ito Smith coming back from injury. You've got a big plethora of running backs. I think that's all you need. You're not looking for a dominant run game. The Atlanta Falcons have never had a dominant run game with Matt Ryan at quarterback. Ooh, that was a bad voice crack. My apologies. With Matt Ryan at quarterback, they've never been a dominant run team or anything. It's more or less a compliment, and I expect that to once again get underway this season, considering the offensive line will be better. So that's the Falcons. I'd give that an A. It's no risk, high reward. Worst case scenario really is he has a really good year and he either gets stuck in a bind, you have to pay him a lot, or he goes somewhere else. But it's really a 1-year rental anyways. It's almost like a better Steven Jackson scenario. As for the Carolina Panthers, they signed Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterback. I'm not sure about that. I don't really think Teddy Bridgewater is a starting caliber quarterback. He was undefeated with the Saints, but a lot of it has to go to the defense. And he passed accurately, but he didn't throw for a lot of yards. I don't think he should be trusted as an elite quarterback. I don't expect the Panthers to really go anywhere this year. They're probably going to have a really bad record. That is going to be the Saints, Falcons, and Bucks are three of the most talented teams. Maybe not the Falcons so much, but they're three of the most talented teams, especially offensively. Those are three stacked offenses. I don't expect the Panthers to get past 4 wins because of that, as well as other games that they have to play. A couple other big signings. Melvin Gordon going to the Broncos. Interesting. I'm not sure how to really feel about that. I don't really like Melvin Gordon that much as a player. I think they paid a bit much for him. 2 years is not terrible. You get out of his contract quick after 2 years. But, and actually, it's not a bad deal when I think about it. Like, he does have injury problems, but the Broncos are a fast-growing team in a competitive division. It's another competitive division. If they can navigate their way through with Drew Lock at quarterback, that is a very talented team. They also traded for Jarrell Casey for a 7th-round pick. That's a great trade for Denver. Beefs up the defensive line. Von Miller's getting older. Jarrell Casey's older as well, but he's still a great player. He's going to be a great mentor in the locker room. He'll provide you with good pressure. That's a great deal. Only for a 7th-round pick. You're just eating some cap is all. The Raiders did quite a bit. I think they signed Corey Littleton and Nick Kwiatkowski from Chicago. 2 good linebackers that should grow a little bit with the team. The only problem, I think the defense for the most part is sorted as an above-average defense. Now you just have to worry about getting Derek Carr some weapons. Maybe Marcus Mariota takes over. Who knows? Get him some wide receiver help. Maybe work on the offensive line a little bit. And that's a really good team. The Chargers, Brian Bulaga, fantastic right tackle. That's a great signing. I believe they also signed someone else. They signed Chris Harris Jr. What a signing! That defensive end, that back end of the defense is stacked. Chris Harris, probably not in the slot. He'll probably play boundary. Desmond King in the slot and Casey Hayward playing the other boundary. It's unbeatable. And then you've got Nasir Adderley coming back from injury to go along with Derwin James, who I think is the best strong safety in football. Fantastic. Great signings for the Chargers. Got a quarterback issue with Tyrod Taylor. We'll see what they do with that. Maybe they draft one. Who knows? But Kansas City didn't do much besides tag Chris Jones. It's going to end up being a tag and trade probably. DeForest Buckner went to the Colts for a first-round pick. I think that's fantastic for the Colts. That's great value for Indianapolis. They've got a lot of cap. They can afford to waste it. First-round pick, you're going to probably use it on a quarterback anyways. Not that big of a loss in my opinion. And I think out of DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, I think Buckner's way better than Armstead. I'm not sure why the 49ers decided to keep Armstead and trade Buckner. I personally would have done it the other way around. Indianapolis got a great deal out of that. 49ers, it's also a great deal for them because they don't have to waste cap. It's really how you should manage a team. That's a fantastic way of managing a team. You're not ever you're not ever killing yourself with the cap. You're never going overboard with the cap. I think it's a great deal for both sides. I think Indianapolis did better though. The Vikings have done a lot of interesting business as well. They signed Michael Pierce, good signing, but Linval Joseph is gone. Trey Waynes is gone. They tagged Anthony Harris. I'm not sure why they did that. They traded Stephon Diggs to the Bills. I don't like Stephon Diggs. I think he's a diva. I think he creates problems wherever he goes. If you didn't like Kirk Cousins, you're probably not gonna like Josh Allen. For the Bills, it's a high risk deal for them, considering Diggs' personality. For the Vikings, they have to fill a gap at wide receiver now. You really only have Adam Thielen, so you have to, the Vikings went from a really good team to, possibly in a bit of a pickle without any cap really quickly. Because now Packers are far and ahead in the division, in my opinion. And then you got the Bears who traded for Nick Foles. It's not a bad trade. You get a quarterback who's going to be better than Trubisky. It's just a matter of how much better. Can he get that defense can the defense carry into the playoffs? Can Nick Foles do good enough? Who knows? It's low risk. It's relatively low risk for the Bears. For the Jags, you get a pick. I mean, the Jags are just in a terrible situation. There's nothing to say there. And another big trade is Darius Slay going into the Eagles for I think it was a third or fourth or second and a third, something like that. It's a good trade for the Eagles. They're getting a great cornerback. A little bit old, but he's fantastic. The issue lies as the rest of the defense for the Eagles. Your linebackers are bad. Your cornerbacks are still pretty bad. Your safeties aren't good. It's only your defensive line that's carrying you. The trenches are the most important positions, in my opinion, in football. But, how far does that go, really? How far does it go? I'm not sure how much time I have left. I'm going to start wrapping it up. As for Detroit, you had to get rid of him. I mean, Matt Patricia, I don't know what he's doing. Bob Quinn, I don't know what he's doing. This is very similar to the Houston Texans with DeAndre Hopkins. No clue what's going on over there. They're just hurting themselves more and more. I feel bad for Lions fans. They're not going to make the playoffs next year. They're not going to... they're going to be last in the division again. They're going to end up with 5... They're going to end up 5-11 again, even if Matthew Stafford starts every game. It's just a bad deal. The Giants signed a bunch of trash linebackers. Blake Martinez, the guy who gets 150 tackles but can't do anything else on the field, can't cover, and can't play, can't be a ball hawk, can't intercept. It's a bad deal for him. They also signed someone else. I'm forgetting the name. He's not good either. The Cowboys got Clinton Dix. It's a good signing. He's a good safety. He'll be a good Jeff Heath replacement. I don't see any issues with that there. It's not an expensive deal either, so I think the Cowboys are in a good situation there. But Byron Jones did go to Miami, so they have a big hole to fill there. Perhaps they do it in the draft with a guy like C.J. Henderson, or maybe even they go safety and go with an Xavier McKinney type guy. Who knows? A mock draft will be out soon. Perhaps I'll do a mock draft over the next few days. A preliminary mock draft, because I didn't do one last year. I kind of just did a star or bust. That video was bad anyways. I would not recommend you go watch it. But yeah, that's really it with free agency. I'm sure I've missed a bunch of people and a bunch of signings. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head here. Just real quick, I want to see if I can think of any other big signings. The Jets didn't do much. They have a lot of cap. They didn't really sign anyone. I don't know what they're doing. That's a wide open AFC East considering Tom Brady's gone. Now it looks as if the Bills are just going to take it, although I do think the Dolphins are going to surprise some people and possibly make a run into the playoffs because that's a wide open division like I just said. The Dolphins also signed Kyle Van Noy. I don't know if I went over that. It's an okay signing. Kyle Van Noy is a bit older. And a lot of times with these defensive players from the Patriots, they're a product of the system. We've seen that with Logan Ryan, who went from a great player to an above average player with the Titans. He still has yet to be signed. Jamie Collins, fantastic on New England, went to Cleveland, couldn't do anything, ended up going back. I didn't know. The list goes on. McCourty, I think it was Jason McCourty, went to the Browns. He didn't do anything there. He's back at New England now, and he's playing really good. That's just the thing with New England players. They don't really do as well when they go to another team, just because I think Bill Belichick, his son. Bill Belichick is such a fantastic coach. As for who I think is going to win the battle of Brady-Belichick next season, I'll make a video on that, and I'll explain my thoughts. But, yeah. In terms of other free agencies, I'm not quite sure. The Titans signed Vic Beasley. Good luck. Good luck, Tennessee. He's not going to do you much. What other signings happened? The Jags, I don't think the Jags really signed anyone important. The Seahawks haven't signed anyone important. I don't know why they're not going for the offensive line. Who knows? Jadeveon Clowney's probably not coming back to Seattle. He's still a free agent because he's not as good, in my opinion, as he thinks he is. He hasn't put up big numbers as much as he used to with Houston. He wants too much money. We'll see what happens with him. Trying to think of some other signings. Washington has made quite a few signings. Perhaps they could be in a big situation. Cam Newton and Andy Dalton are yet to go anywhere. We'll see where they go. Perhaps Patriots could be a destination. Perhaps. It's tough. A lot of teams already have quarterbacks in place. The Raiders just got Mariota, so you wouldn't expect them to pick up one or the other. Maybe San Diego, but they said that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the guy. I have no idea. With that. Maybe Denver goes in for one of them. I thought Denver going in for Cam Newton as a backup quarterback would be a fantastic option. As I charge my phone here because of that 10%. This is the longest video I've ever made, I think. I don't know how I still have the storage in my phone for this. I'm trying to think of some other good free agent signings, but I can't seem to think of any. And I know I'm missing a couple big ones. But maybe I'll make another video. Because I'm forgetting a lot. But I think that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. We'll do more NFL free agency stuff. We'll do more NFL mock draft, more NFL everything. I'm in quarantine. I think everyone in the world is in quarantine right now. I don't think I have the coronavirus, but I'm just saying, we're all sitting home. I'm really bored. I'm so bored that I've been playing Minecraft the last 2 days. That's when you know that you are beyond bored, is when you're playing Minecraft for 2 days straight. I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. I don't know what you are either. Maybe I'll buy some weights and we'll do some at-home workout videos. Because why not just waste my bank account on some things that are temporary. I don't know how long this thing is going to last, but I'm not trying to lose my gains. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of laying back in my chair right now. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm waffling. If you like a waffler, subscribe. If you like a pancake, also subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.